Premature birth is the #1 killer of babies. Those who survive often face birth defects and complications that affect them for life. For hundreds of thousands of families in the United States, this is the hardest thing they will ever have to face. And it's even harder on the baby. March of Dimes is providing education and support to families and funding life-saving research to give every baby a fighting chance. You can help. Do something today. Give them tomorrow at marchofdimes.org/tomorrow.
See that cute little dog in the pet store window? Chances are it came from a puppy mill, a breeding facility that forces caged, neglected, and often sick dogs to churn out puppy after puppy to be sold for profit. Meanwhile, millions of wonderful, healthy pets end up in animal shelters. This leads to the killing of more than 9,000 by the end of today. But with one simple choice, you can help, just by deciding to adopt instead of purchase your next pet. Animal shelters are full of amazing pets looking for a home. When you adopt your new best friend, not only are you saving a life, you're taking a stand against puppy mills. When your friends see the smart choice and impact you've made, they adopt their next pet and share with 5 of their friends, who share with 5 more. Before long, thousands get involved. Pet stores stop selling dogs from puppy mills, and even more lives are saved. And with your help, we can save them all. Visit bestfriends.org/puppymills to learn more.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzzed driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzzed driving, because buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
The following letters were written by our troops.
My dear fellow Americans, I truly appreciate your support. I was starting to wonder if people had forgotten about us over here, but then one of my buddies showed me this website, and now as tears are streaming down my face, I can see for sure that you haven't. Private Emily B., U.S. Army.
It's so heartwarming to see the American people not letting the men and women of the armed forces be forgotten. Your letters make a group of grown men, battle-hardened and gruff, act like a bunch of kids around a Christmas tree. Thanks. Staff Sergeant Matthew H., U.S. Army.
Your support may be the most important thing our troops can carry with them. But don't take our word for it. Take theirs. To show your support, visit americasupportsyou.mil. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Defense and the Ad Council.
Thousands of families affected by disasters, like the recent wildfires, urgently need support. You can help the American Red Cross provide warm meals, shelter, and hope to families when they need it most. Please donate today to Red Cross Disaster Relief to help people affected by disasters, big and small. Go to redcross.org or call 1-800-RED-CROSS today. Your support is critical. We can't do it without you.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all, the few, the proud, the Marines.
Were you born from 1945 to 1965? People born during these years are 5 times more likely to have hepatitis C. So even if you try to eat right, exercise, and take care of yourself, you could still have hepatitis C, a serious disease that's a leading cause of liver cancer. If you were born from 1945 to 65, you should get a blood test for hepatitis C. Treatments can cure this disease. Talk to your doctor about getting tested. A message from the CDC.
Hello there, this is Nat King Cole, wishing you all a happy and a Merry Christmas.
The joy of living is in the giving. So let's give lots of toys for tots.
Since 1947, the United States Marine Corps has been helping Santa fill his sleigh, making happier holidays for deserving children right in your community. Go to toysfortots.org and learn how you can make a difference.
The following program is closed captioned for the thinking impaired.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Good morning, my fellow Americans and liberty lovers and ecclesiastites all across the globe. It is I, your lovable host, Rod, coming to you live this Wednesday, hump day for some cases. This January number 11, 2017, the year of our Lord, 2017. You know, call-in number, by the way, 603-835-3226, as we once again broadcast from the bunkerized studio somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire. I am somewhat discombobulated this morning, not because I don't know what I'm doing, but because there is so much going on. I mean, you know, the paper pile is probably about as heavy and thick as it's ever been. But this stuff today, man, there's no way I'm going to get to everything, but got to cover this whole news about the Trump-Russian CIA, British intelligence connection. You're not going to believe this stuff. Plus Obama's last general public address to the Americans of the USA. I know a lot of people are still crossing their fingers. As well as the brouhaha that is still continuing with the Golden Globes out there in Hollywood. Whenever the left loses, they just don't lose an election. They lose their freaking minds. Now, I was tossing up this morning, back and forth, what should I lead off with this morning? And I got to tell you, it just comes about where I got to lead off with this nonsense about fake news on Donald Trump. I mean, this has never happened before. Never. I mean, you've got BuzzFeed out there and you've got CNN out there. CNN just picked it up. These people they want this stuff to be so true. They want it to be so true that they do not even begin to see if it's true. They don't begin to do the news vetting process. Last night I watched the near season finale of the Leah Remini program about Scientology. Now, look, people, I know some people, when I've mentioned Scientology before, I've gotten some people that said, Rod, you got to tread lightly on those people, man. They can be dangerous. Like, first of all, I'm not afraid of anybody. And second of all, I'm not here to dump on Scientology. There's plenty of stuff out there already. I mean, I've already mentioned Dianetics, and I thought it was a book that was full of garbage. But you can go ahead and look up Scientology on your own, make your own decision. I've already made up my mind that I'm not believing in aliens and L. Ron Hubbard, going off and on a new adventure. The man died, and I guess he died of a stroke. He didn't shed his body. His body shut down on him. So I'm watching how these people, Scientology, have destroyed people's lives. And not only do they destroy people's lives when they get into Scientology, but when they try to leave Scientology. And these people send out private investigators. They must have an army of private investigators. I don't know if unless you are in the Church of Scientology itself, I don't understand how, if you're a PI, you would actually go to work for these people. Because the things that they have shown, and it's not just Leah Remini who's brought this stuff up. It is lots of people, both who were in Scientology and who never were in Scientology. You have journalists talking about this that have reported over the many, many years that Scientology has been around of the actions of this so-called church. They will put out fake news on people. They will try to find any bit of dirt they can possibly find, and they will blow up that little tiny speck of dirt. And we all have skeletons in our closet. We all have done things in the past that we wish we could go back and change. We've all done things that we've been sorry for and that we've probably apologized over and over for, and we've tried to make amends for some of those things. But the Church of Scientology will send out this army of private detectives to find even the littlest speck of dirt on you if they feel that you're an enemy to them. And they will blow that up into something that is unreal, i.e. fake. Fake, fake, fake. They'll even try to make stuff up without really making it up. They'll put stuff out like, well, this is John Doe, and put a terrible grainy picture of you, and they'll say, do you really know your neighbor John Doe? I mean, what does that do to people? They start questioning, like, whoa, what's wrong? Is John Doe a pedophile? Is John Doe a criminal? Is John Doe this? Is people's minds start working on their own. That's issuing fake news without really actually saying anything. They don't accuse John Doe of anything. They just say, do you really know John Doe? It's an innuendo. And we all know that innuendos can be just as deadly, as dangerous as actually saying something that is real, that is fake. So they're not running around saying, John Doe is a pedophile. Did you know that John Doe was a pedophile, or John Doe was accused of being a pedophile, or John Doe could be? No, they just say, do you know John? Do you really know your neighbor John Doe? Well, this is what we're getting from the mainstream media nearly every single day. And when they find out that they've made a mistake, what do they normally do with this stuff? They'll have a story for a day or a week or even a month splashed on the front page. It'd be like the New York Times saying, do you really know your neighbor John Doe? And then a few days later, buried on page 12, they'll print a small print, one-paragraph retraction. Nobody reads that. So this is what they're hoping to do with this type of fake news right now. They want this stuff about Donald Trump that has been floating around about Donald Trump this whole election season to be true. They want it to be true. Forget whether or not it is true or not. They're not interested in finding out if it's true. If they get something, if they get a lead that says, oh, Donald Trump is a total a-hole, he's a criminal, a potential criminal, or he's anti-American, or he's been doing this or doing that, and he's corrupt, they're going to run with it. Plaster it on front page 1 above the fold. And then when they're caught or they find out that it's not real, they'll print a retraction on page 12. Well, the news is already out there. See, folks, this fake news stuff is not about trying to get the news out. It's all about innuendo. And there are far too many people. I had somebody a few days ago message me about, and folks, I can't make this up. They asked me where the closed captions were. Because at the beginning of this program, it says the following program is closed caption for the thinking impaired. They said they couldn't find the closed caption. Was there another link that they needed to go to? Now, folks, I can't make this up. I really can't. But that's the mentality of a lot of people, not just here in America, but around the globe. But that's the mentality of a lot of people in this country. They don't even stop and think for themselves. So the first thing that they hear or see is gospel to them. They don't even think for a second, well, what's wrong with this story? Is this satire? Is this fake? They believe it to be God. Why? Because it's coming from a journalistic news source, an alleged journalistic news source. And these people are supposed to know what they're doing, right? Well, hey, if Trump wasn't in cahoots with Putin in Russia, then they wouldn't have said it. But I caught this last night. I mean, this fake news has ensnared some of our own. Now, I got to tell you, last night I'm looking at this stuff just before or just after Obama's speech, and I'm thinking, what the hell is this? There's an intel report that Russia intends to blackmail Donald Trump. Now, red flags start popping up all over the place on this one on me. I'm thinking, no. But first, even allegedly smart people like me are thinking, well, what they say they got an intel report, a 35-page report. Now, I didn't even bother to look at the report because something didn't smell right. But here I get up early this morning, and it's all over the place. I mean, it didn't take long for people to figure. If it did, between the time they started printing this story and releasing this story to the time that it came out that it was fake news, was less than 6 hours. So if people realized and could find out that this was fake within 6 hours, do you think that maybe CNN and BuzzFeed, if they would have bothered to do their due diligence, which they are charged as journalists to do, they would have known that this was fake? Maybe they already knew, but yet they were still going to put it out there anyway. Why? Because, the left, I don't know if I think the left actually hates Donald Trump more than they hated Ronald Reagan. And that's saying something. I don't think that there has been a single politician out there that these people have loathed more than Donald Trump. I mean, they have piled on all kinds of fake news, false stories, blatant innuendos on Donald Trump. They don't even care how hypocritical they are or how hypocritical they sound. They could have done the exact same thing that they're blaming Donald Trump for today. They could have done the exact same thing last week and yesterday, and it wouldn't matter to them because that's how much of blind rage they have towards President-elect Donald J. Trump. And folks, there's a reason why the lamestream media has lost credibility with the vast majority of Americans. I mean, even foreign press points out how bad our media is now. Used to be the light of the world. Now you got foreign media. You got British news. You've got French news. You've got Italian news. You've got Japanese news pointing out just what a joke the American media is today. Used to be the light of the world. Told the truth. Shine the light on the truth everywhere. And now they are a total and complete joke. You're listening to me, your lovable host, L. Rod, here on the Rod Eccles Show.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide. Plus, what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
You know, a couple of weeks ago, a long-haired young person came into our bank and said to me, I bet you won't lend me money to buy an electric guitar. Well, he was making $100 a week, and he was over 18, and I said, I bet you I will lend you money to buy an electric guitar. And I did. So what happens? The punk gets busted for possession of dangerous drugs, and we're out $350. There's one thing about kids nowadays. You don't have to give them credit.
Universal Bank. We trust you. About as far as we can throw you.
(603-835-3226). Yes, that is the call-in number. If you wish to join me here live here on the Rod Eccles Show as we talk about all this wonderful fake news that is coming out of the various news headquarters around the country. New York, L.A., Chicago, Washington, D.C. As a side note, speaking of Chicago, Obama was in Chicago to give his farewell address. By the way, his farewell address was longer than Ronald Reagan, Bill Clinton, and George W. Bush's combined. And I don't know who does the counting, but evidently he referred to himself more than 75 times in a 50-minute speech, 55-minute speech. And that's ridiculous. Absolutely, totally redonkulous, as it were. Yeah, well, you can't make this stuff up, folks. And the stuff that you can't make up is, The Guardian was reporting that James Comey, the FBI director, current FBI director, probably not, he's probably not keeping his job under Trump, refuses to tell the Senate if the FBI is investigating the Trump-Russia links. He says, and I quote, "I would never comment on investigations in an open forum." Now, he wouldn't comment. He probably knew that this was fake stuff, but he didn't want to say that it was fake. But the response stunned senators after his public remarks on the Clinton email case, which he might be still stinging from all of that. By the way, all the wonderful people who've done such wonderful work in the Obama administration. I got a story here in the paper pile. They're evidently, staffers are actually having a hard time. We'll get into that later in the program, but it appears staffers, Obama-Clinton staffers, the Clinton campaign and Obama administration staffers are struggling to find employment post-election. It couldn't happen to a bunch of more wonderful people in my book, but there you have it. They can't find private sector jobs. Well, that's a problem, actually, because if they don't find a job out there in the private sector, guess where they're going? Yeah, right back into the public sector, back into government. And they'll go into they won't degrade themselves to go below state. They'll apply for state and federal positions, and they'll most likely get them, because a lot of their friends and hacks are will still be in hiring positions even when Trump takes office. And unfortunately, Trump just can't walk in and fire the entire federal government and make everybody reapply. That just wish it could happen, but it just can't. For numerous reasons, it would just be a nightmare. Can you imagine trying to turn? I think they're. A couple of senators, Ted Cruz was one of the senators, that they evidently filed a bill for a constitutional amendment to put term limits on the House and in the Senate. It was 2 terms in the Senate, and I think they were looking at 3 terms in the House. Max. I'm okay with that. That's kind of what I said before. I've said, maybe, we go two terms in the Senate, and I would allow somebody, but let's equal them out with the Senate. 6 terms, 12 years period. And I would say it's 12 years period. Totally. You don't get to go 12 years in the House and then, I'm going to become a senator and go another 12 years. No 24, 25 year stint here. No, 12 years, period. So maybe this is a little bit better because it limits you to at least 18 years total. And if you're lucky enough to be president, you can get another max of 8, but that's obviously only one at a time. So I'm behind that. But maybe we should start thinking that there should be term limits to some of these bureaucratic positions as well. Because let's face it, unless you get rid of the bureaucrats, it doesn't really matter who you put in Congress. The bureaucrats still are running things. And you got to get rid of the people who are really causing the problems in the first place. And that's the bureaucrats. And bureaucrats, like Comey. Now, this guy should have, if he knew that this was fakery, he should have told the Senate that. And people like Senator McCain should have known that this was fake, but no, they didn't care, folks. They wanted this to be true of Donald Trump. They wanted it to be true. That's all that counted.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
I'm just so happy my father had a chance to see his kids before he passed. I just want to say thank you.
When her father fell ill, the American Red Cross was able to help get Veronica's brother home from the Navy to speak to his father one last time. It's thanks to your donations that we can connect military families when they need it most. Please donate today at redcross.org.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month, and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please call or go online right now.
Warning. Listening to the Rod Eccles Show by the Idiot Left may cause outrage, fear, a need for safety pins and or spaces. If you experience any of these symptoms or are allergic to truth, tune in and learn something, Snowflake.
Six 603-835-3226. Get your dance on this morning. I know it's early, especially if you're out there listening out in California. I do appreciate Californians who get up so early and tune in. It's like 6 in the morning. Well, 6:30 in the morning out there. 6:30 a.m. That's pretty early. But, with the traffic out there in Southern California, in order for you guys to get to work by 9 a.m., you do have to get up at 6 because you probably got to leave your house by 7. It's a 2-hour commute. Look, I'm familiar with commutes. I once lived in Southern New Hampshire, worked in Boston. Now, no traffic. It's a 40, 45-minute drive to downtown Boston. You get into rush hour, it's an hour and a half at least. I remember one stormy night. Snowstorm. Wasn't even all that bad, but it was a bad snowstorm. Well, at least give them that much. No joke. From the back bay, if you're familiar with Boston, the back bay of Boston, where the office was that I worked at, to going home to Nashua, New Hampshire. 4 freaking hours. No joke. 4 hours. And that was way before there was GPS on your phones and things like that. And, you had to know all the back ways by heart. And maybe if you had a map and, the book map, remember those? Map that came in a big book. Yeah, I had those in my car. And every alternative roadway that I knew of to get off the highway to try to get, they were all clogged. If I had stayed on the highway, I probably would have been I probably would not have been at home within 4 hours. It probably would have taken long. There were some people that have said they were but they were talking to people on the news. Said, yeah, it took me 6.5 hours to get home. You're like, oh, hell no. 4 hours was enough. Sorry, I just noticed in the chat room, I don't think CS people really, millennials know what a road atlas is. But if you just say a big book of maps, they know what that is. Just trying to help out with for them to understand the lingo. But it was 4 hours to get home. And that was before the big dig and all that kind of stuff, before we got the new, tunnel. And it just... It's insanity. And of course, I didn't really follow the news, but the news that they wanted to make it all dramatic. It was mayhem on the roadways and, the stopped traffic and people were nobody was sleeping in their car. It only took them 6 hours to get home. That's not this is why here in New England, you don't let your gas tank get below a quarter of a tank, ever. If you can help it, you never let it. And during the winter, you're better off, as soon as it dips below half a tank, you're going and filling up. But you never let it get below, because you don't know when a snowstorm is going to whip up and you're going to be stuck there on the highway for 4 hours. That is. But speaking of highways and byways, we've got a highway of fake news. Now, folks, let's start getting into this. Now, unfortunately, there's a ton of stuff here in the paper pile, but this is just too important. I still got to get to Obama's last week. Boy, I get some dissecting to do on that one. But this is incredible. I'm still flabbergasted by this. I know that's a $10 word for some of you millennials. I know. Look it up. You'll see that it's in action. They probably can't spell it. Well, to be honest with you, I probably can't spell it correctly either, but at least I know what it is. They probably can't. You know, I got this. I got in this conversation a few days ago with a teacher, and I was saying, you know, maybe we need to bring back civics in our classroom. And she's like, well, that's part of the history and science curriculum. I said, civics really is still in there, yeah. But we don't get a chance to get to it a lot. I said, well, what do you mean? Now, she's an elementary school teacher. She says, yeah, we only get about 45 minutes of history and science each per week. I said, per week? You basically have one class a week each of history and science? Yeah, I mean, that's about all the time we have. We got to do this, we got to do that. And I asked her, well, is it the standardized testing that's taking all your time? She says, well, I asked her how many. She says, well, this year we have 5. 5 standard. No, when I was in school, we took one every 2 years. It was called the Iowa test. Anybody remember those? She says, yeah, and we have to prepare them, and a couple of the tests it could take a whole week or more to prepare for these. A week for a test? You're not learning. You're not teaching him anything. He says, well, that's the problem. Teachers can't teach. Well, that's out of the horse's mouth, folks. I mean, here we have a bunch of people that we're trying to raise into good citizens, society contributors, and we're not teaching them anything because we're too busy trying to figure out what they've already learned, which isn't much. And so when something like this happens, they don't have the wherewithal and they don't have the skills, the mental capacity to figure out that it's wrong, it's bad, it's illegitimate, that it's fake. Even though that there's this huge brouhaha over this, do you know how many liberals are going to believe that it's true? Do you know how many never-Trumpers are going to believe that it's true? Simply because it was put in their head, oh, it's got to be true, man. It's got to, because I hate Donald Trump that much that it has to be true. But now it's a sad look. I'm sorry, even though we got Donald as the president-elect, I gotta be honest with you. As a nation, as human beings, as a race, as a society, we're in trouble. We are in huge trouble. We have far too many kids who are being ill-educated in public schools all across the globe, not just here in the US of A. Liberals have gotten their hands into our educational system and into our children's minds like you would not believe. This was pretty much the last chance we had to try to straighten things out. As we can see all across the Western world, globalist believing liberal leaders have been booted out of office. The only one still standing, I think, is Angela Merkel of Germany. She's the only major one still standing. I mean, they've been booting him out left and right. This was it for the Western world of humanity. I'm telling you, this was our last stand. We had to try to do something, and now that we've done it, we've got to make sure that things start to get corrected, or else we're not going to see the end of this fake news stuff. And what's worse is you are going to have liberals repeat the fake news as if it were fact. Hell, Meryl Streep did that in her little diatribe at the Golden Globes on Sunday. She said stuff that we knew wasn't true, was already disproven. In fact, it was proven that her favorite people, the Clintons, were behind some of it. It actually did some of it, but that didn't stop her from saying it, repeating it, and doubling down on it. You see what I mean? This fake news stuff, once it hits, it becomes embedded in these people's minds. And I guarantee you 6 months from now, something is going to flare up, and these people are going to say, remember when we told you Donald Trump was in bed with the Russians? And you'll remind them it was fake news proven to be debunked. They'll grumble and they'll grumble and they'll grumble about it, and then they'll run around another month later and say, see, Donald Trump did this and Donald... And you got to keep reminding them it was fake. It wasn't true. This is where we've gotten to. This is where it's not how far we've come, it's how far we've devolved. It's gotten to the point now where this is the modern day version of the Salem witch trials. Remember that from history? You know, anytime somebody did something that they just didn't understand, that looked like it was a miracle, but it wasn't a miracle, it was witchcraft, and they would accuse somebody of witchcraft. This is the same damn thing, just in a modern incarnation. Hours before Trump's press conference, CNN and BuzzFeed hit fake news button big time. Yes, just as we saw last Friday with the completely fact and evidence-free dog and pony show put on by the intelligence community and their media allies. This is from dailywire.com. Late Tuesday afternoon, the establishment empire struck again, this time with an unprecedented double down. No doubt working in tandem and with Donald Trump's many establishment enemies on both the left and the right. How true is that? CNN and BuzzFeed did something so sleazy and dishonest that just a few years ago, even a media cynic like me would not have believed it possible. With a breathless breaking news report, left-wing CNN went first. To no one's surprise, the once respected Jake Tapper took the lead. Undoubtedly, CNN's overall goal was to offer up the imprimatur of journalism so that a batch of leaked and completely unsubstantiated anti-Trump documents could be dumped on the American public the night before the president-elect's very first press conference. Does anybody think none of this stuff is not coordinated? They think any of this stuff is not coordinated. That's a double negative. I can't say none of this stuff is not coordinated. That's bad English. I should learn how to be more proper with my English speak. They were out there without sure, they wanted to be first with breaking the story. Breaking story: Donald Trump is a traitor colluding with the Russians. That's basically what they said. That is basically what they said. They didn't bother to fact check it. They didn't bother to check the sources, to double up on everything. You know, I'm not a journalist. I didn't go to school to become a journalist. I don't even pretend to be a journalist on a morning talk show. But even I know that when you get stories of such import, should I say importance so people know what that means? When you have stories of such importance, you not only double, you triple check. They didn't even check once. Somebody must have picked up the cable off the fax machine, whatever they're using now, the fax machine, and said, Look, it's about Donald Trump, man. This is huge. Let's run with this. And nobody said, whoa, ho, ho, put the brakes on. Let's check the sources. Let's double check that. Let's triple check. Because this is major here. We can't just go on the air or print this in the newspaper without or on websites without making sure that the sources are accurate and the story's accurate. What if we get something wrong? Oh, no. That's what they used to say. When journalism was still alive 30, 40 years ago, that's what they used to say. Now it's, oh, let's run with it, man, because this is going to hit him so hard. Yes, we hate him so much that we want this to be true, so we're going to make it true even if it's not true. And you know what? Before the internet, maybe 20 years ago, under Bill Clinton's time and before, they would have gotten away with this. They would have gotten away with it. But they can't get away with it anymore.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide. Plus, what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
A couple of weeks ago, a long-haired young person came into our bank and said to me, I bet you won't lend me money to buy an electric guitar. Well, he was making $100 a week, and he was over 18, and I said, I bet you I will lend you money to buy an electric guitar. And I did. So what happens? The punk gets busted for possession of dangerous drugs, and we're out $350. There's one thing about kids nowadays. You don't have to give them credit.
Universal Bank. We trust you. About as far as we can throw you.
I wonder if they'll ever turn this into a movie. Probably not, but we'll see about that. I don't know if they'll ever turn it into a movie or not, but they'll it'll be funny to see if they did. I think it'd probably be a comedy. It would probably be a comedy. You know what they should do? They should. I'd like to see this whole election debacle. It would be hilarious as a movie, and I can get the players right now. What's her from? Oh, geez, what the hell is her name from 30 Rock? I forget the actress's name who was the lead in Lemon. She played Lemon. Anyway, I forget her name. Don't really care. They should get Kevin Hart to play Obama, and they should get The Rock to play Trump. I could be a casting director. Can you imagine? That would be hilarious. Liz Lemon, isn't that her character's name from 30 Rock? Yeah. Well, I know some people would probably say they should get Alec Baldwin to play Trump, but nah, he's too over the top. Baldwin actually is pretty funny, but he's a liberal, DICK there. The Rock would be good to play. Put a wig on The Rock. He's already bald. You won't mind. And to play the comedy of the 2016 election. Who would you get to play? Well, we didn't see much of Biden through this whole thing, so I guess we don't have to worry about that. But who would you get to? Some of the major players. Who would be Bill Clinton? Who would you get to play Bill Clinton? Who would you get to play Comey? We need to find somebody that would play John McCain too. And let's find a scriptwriter. I'm sure we could sell it to someone in Hollywood. BuzzFeed is under huge fire today because of what they have done. They're huge. Even the New York Post is out there dumping on BuzzFeed's Trump report takes fake news to a new level. You think? The website BuzzFeed decided to publish a series of memos that have been floating around for months alleging all kinds of terrible things about Donald Trump. Some of those terrible allegations have to do with efforts to influence the American elections and Trump. And some of them have to do with Trump's personal sexual conduct, even. They're still talking about this. Trump evidently, supposedly, allegedly, grabbing a woman's hoo-ha. It's been debunked and disproven. They're still mentioning it. Meryl Streep said it on Sunday night. I told you, when they do that, when this stuff comes out, they don't let go of it even after it's been proven true. Because they want, even after it's been proven to be false or fake or not true, they want it to be true. Hey. Gary Busey? Yeah, I'll be down for that. Gary Busey is Joe Biden. Gary Busey is a person I would like to hang out with, but I'd be afraid to hang out with. Because I think that man is just that much of a nut job. He's dangerous. He's dangerous. But it would be it'd be fun though, huh? Yeah, it'd be a night you wouldn't forget if you hung out with Gary Busey for a night. I'm pretty sure of that. Folks, you can't. This is, this whole nonsense about. They just want this to be so true, so bad. They want it to be so true, so freaking bad. And well, you know what? Coming up after the top of the hour break here, we've got somebody going to give us some intel, some inside intel on some of this stuff. Try to make some sense of it. There is no sense to make of it, folks. Don't daunt me on that. There really isn't. We'll be back.
If you love to smoke, then you know there's no place left in America where you can light up a butt these days. That's why Carnival is proud to offer our new Smokers Cruise. Board our luxury liner and be off to, who cares where you go? The point is, you'll be in international waters where you can smoke 24 hours a day for a full 2 weeks.
They let us smoke on the dance floor, and all our meals, even in the pool.
I like all the activities. Smoke-alongs, cigar races. Hey, I met a babe who smokes unfiltered Luckies. What?
The Smokers Cruise. Sign up now for regular or menthol. Hey, it's not just a vacation. It's the lung book.
My friend. could see me now.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness.
Get some rear security.
From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
The following letters were written by our troops.
My dear fellow Americans, I truly appreciate your support. I was starting to wonder if people had forgotten about us over here, but then one of my buddies showed me this website, and now as tears are streaming down my face, I can see for sure that you haven't. Private Emily B., U.S. Army.
It's so heartwarming to see the American people not letting the men and women of the armed forces be forgotten. Your letters make a group of grown men, battle-hardened and gruff, act like a bunch of kids around a Christmas tree. Thanks. Staff Sergeant Matthew H., U.S. Army.
Your support may be the most important thing our troops can carry with them. But don't take our word for it. Take theirs. To show your support, visit americasupportsyou.mil. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Defense and the Ad Council.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. We leave no warrior behind. Wounded Warrior Project is a non-profit organization created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war. Whether those scars are physical or mental, we're here to make sure that they heal. And whether it's helping those with post-traumatic stress disorder live a normal life again, or giving much-needed support to injured warriors in veterans' hospitals. Because no one deserves our help more than the men and women who risk their lives to keep us safe. Wounded Warrior Project.
Hold on.
We never leave a fallen warrior behind.
Hold on.
Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Were you born from 1945 to 1965? People born during these years are 5 times more likely to have hepatitis C. So even if you try to eat right, exercise, and take care of yourself, you could still have hepatitis C, a serious disease that's a leading cause of liver cancer. If you were born from 1945 to 65, you should get a blood test for hepatitis C. Treatments can cure this disease. Talk to your doctor about getting tested. A message from the CDC.
See that cute little dog in the pet store window? Chances are it came from a puppy mill, a breeding facility that forces caged, neglected, and often sick dogs to churn out puppy after puppy to be sold for profit. Meanwhile, millions of wonderful, healthy pets end up in animal shelters. This leads to the killing of more than 9,000 by the end of today. But with one simple choice, you can help. Just by deciding to adopt instead of purchase your next pet. Animal shelters are full of amazing pets looking for a home. When you adopt your new best friend, not only are you saving a life, you're taking a stand against puppy mills. When your friends see the smart choice and impact you've made, they adopt their next pet and share with 5 of their friends, who share with 5 more. Before long, thousands get involved. Pet stores stop selling dogs from puppy mills, and even more lives are saved. And with your help, we can save them all. Visit bestfriends.org/puppymills to learn more.
Thousands of families affected by disasters, like the recent wildfires, urgently need support. You can help the American Red Cross provide warm meals, shelter, and hope to families when they need it most. Please donate today to Red Cross Disaster Relief to help people affected by disasters, big and small. Go to redcross.org or call 1-800-RED-CROSS today. Your support is critical. We can't do it without you.
You want to know what time it is? It's time to bring the rain.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Back. Anyone else love that opening theme music more than I do? I mean, I love that music. Yes, it is I, your lovable host, Rod, coming to you live from the Bunker Eye Studios, somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire, where the state motto is still live free or die. It is not big government or bust. And if anybody says that they've changed it, it's fake news, because it hasn't changed. Here it is on Wednesday, Hump Day, January number 11 in the year of our Lord 2017. And for those of you who are still counting down the days, it is 9 days left until President-elect Trump becomes President Trump. Call-in number this morning is 603-835-3226. Got a suggestion that came through the wire from David, and he says that Nick Nolte, you should play John McCain. I think that is perfect. Perfect right there. I mean, you couldn't get better. Who else could possibly play the fiery McCain than the fiery Nick Nolte? He even Nick Nolte really doesn't look like it. He's got too much hair, actually. He might have to put on one of those wigs to lessen the amount of hair, because Nick Nolte still has like a ton of hair on his head. Unless that's changed over the past couple. I don't know. Has anybody seen Nick Nolte recently? I don't recall ever having seen him recently. Anyway, and for those of you just joining, we're talking about possibly making a comedy movie, because that would be apropos. And for those of you in Rush Limbaugh's Rhea Linda, that would be mean appropriate. It would be apropos to have a comedy of this past 2016 presidential election. Because frankly, this is, if you don't laugh at this, I mean, you're not even going to cry. You're just going to get ticked off to no end. So you're going to have to laugh at it. Because this stuff is absolutely, when you look back at it, it's hilarious. And now we have all this fake news. I mean, this is anybody in their right mind who is supposed to be a journalist or even pretends to be a journalist would have known better to make sure that they verified and double verified and triple verified before they went on the air to press with this stuff about Donald Trump being in cahoots with Putin and the Russians to influence our elections so he'd win. And this is just ridiculous. I don't care how much you hate the guy. Anyway, we have somebody here on the phone this morning. CS is here to try to help. Now, he was originally going to show up this morning and fill us in on some other intel stuff, but this fake news stuff just broke in, and he's got some insight from. Now, CS is now that's not well. Yeah, I'm sorry, folks. I just saw somebody say that Wesley Snipes could play Michelle Obama, and he was in Tu Wong Fu. Playing a tranny, so I guess that would work out well too. But we've got all this information, and it's false information. In this stuff, it shouldn't even. They shouldn't even have looked at it twice, to tell you the truth. It should have gone into the circular file. And again, for those of you in Rush Limbaugh's Real End, if you haven't heard those terms before, I know these are old-fashioned terms, but circular file means garbage can. I know I'm going to have somebody say, I didn't know files were circular. I thought they were rectangles. But trust me, somebody would say that. But in any case, folks, we have CS on the line. He's my go-to guy for intel stuff. Good morning, CS. How are you doing?
Good morning. How are you?
Good. So what the hell is going on here? I mean, how is it possible? I saw a couple of these pages. Sure, they I don't know what I'm looking at, but as far as making it official, but they look like they could be official. But we're talking about they roped in a British intel agent who then passed it on to our intel agency, who then passed it on to McCain, who then passed it on to Comey.
Well, let's put it like this. I mean, you missed a step here because it went from a supposed anonymous British intel agent to Rick Wilson, who's a GOP consultant and also an infamous Never Trumper. Then it went to Evan McMullin. Remember him? Yeah. He's also an infamous Never Trumper who also ran for president of the United States on the Republican ticket. And then it went to John McCain, and then it went to the intel agencies. Now, the funny part is that one of the aspects of this report that this supposed former, I got to make that stress, former intel agent received was about the entire, let's say, evacuation of the bladder with Donald Trump. That's in this report. Well, see, here's the funny part. This came from another anonymous source. And this anonymous source is named Polax. It's /POL/ACKS. And they mailed a fan fiction to a Never Trump pundit, again, Rick Wilson, about Donald Trump evacuating his bladder on beds that Obama slept in. Well, here's the problem with this. Like I said, it's a fan fiction. Second of all, Polax came up on the internet and admitted, we made the whole damn thing up. It's all nonsense. Oh, and mind you, Polax is Germany. They're from Germany. So they made this entire thing up, sent it to Rick Wilson, who then handed it over to this former intel agent from England, who then put it in the report, who then sent it back to Rick Wilson, who then gave it to Evan McMullin, who then gave it to John McCain, who then gave it to the CIA. So right there, I was like, really? Now, if you take a look at something else, here's something that happened here in the United States that blew up and it went completely viral. And this is the shooting of the gorilla in the Cincinnati Zoo by the name of Harambe. Well, in this report, it also states that Donald Trump was at the Cincinnati Zoo. And Donald Trump had one of his security people push this child into the gorilla cage or the gorilla pen just to make a scene. And I sat there, and when I read this nonsense on the report, I was done. I was completely done. Because let's face the facts. If Donald Trump would have been at the Cincinnati Zoo, this also would have been part of the entire story. And Donald Trump was there to witness the murder of this poor animal. You know, I was done with the report. The whole thing is, it's like a bowl. If you have a bowl and you hold water in it, one hole in that bowl will not hold any water at all. So this report, all reports from intelligence agencies, have to be the same exact way. The entire report has to hold water, because if it doesn't, the whole report is compromised and it's useless. So right there, I've just poked two major holes in this entire report. It's garbage. It's nonsense. The whole thing is fabricated. It's made up, all in an effort to go after Donald Trump. And it's ridiculous.
So are you saying then that most of these major players in this, from news media to McCain's office to others, they knew that this wasn't real, but yet and still they went ahead and did it anyway?
Oh, yeah, it's called desperation. Let's be serious. It's desperation. I mean, let's take a look at something that happened in American history, which was a scar in the history of this country, which was slavery. You had the good old boys down south refusing to let go of one of their economic strengths, which was, of course, slavery. And they fought it tooth and nail. They fought it hard. Now, a vast majority of Southerners of that time did not own slaves. They were too poor to own slaves. It was the top dogs, the rich, the aristocrats of the South that rallied the troops with lies, with nonsense, with propaganda, that the Northerners trying to dictate the Southerners' life, trying to run the Southerners' life, tell them how to live, how to do things. And of course they resisted and they fought. This is very similar to that, because now the Republican Party, in fact, politics in this country, period, is changing. And there are many within the political realm that refuse to let go of the old ways. They want to hang on to the old ways. They don't want to serve only 3 terms as a congressman or a senator, and you're done. That's it. Move on. They don't want that. They want to have that career political life. They want the benefits that go with it. They want the fame, the glory. I mean, they just refuse to let go of what they have, because it's made a very comfortable life for them with almost very little effort. Because, come on, let's be honest. In the political realm, there isn't a lot of effort to be a politician. All you got to do is just do a whole bunch of grip and grins, kiss a few babies, tell a whole pack of lies, and you're in. And they just refuse to let go of that lifestyle. And Trump is a symbol of changes that are coming down the line, because other politicians are starting to view things the way he does. And the young politicians are also sitting there, or aspiring politicians are sitting there going, wow, he's got a point. He's making a point. Things have to change. So let's be honest. McCain, McMullen, all these other people, Rick Wilson, they are old school. They don't want these changes to happen.
Yeah, old school. I think they're ancient as far as age on most of those people. I'm looking at all these different news stories that are coming out about this whole incident, including the New York Times of all, are ripping to shreds BuzzFeed. But they seem to be going kind of lax on CNN, who actually, quote unquote, broke the story in the first place. And none of these people bothered to do any fact checking, or did they? And they just ignored the facts and decided to run with the story. Keep in mind, I already told you that they keep repeating this whole already numerous times debunked allegation that Trump grabbed a woman's hoo-ha. Well, we know that didn't happen, but they still say it.
No. The problem is that a lot of these organizations they suffer from a condition called selective hearing. He said, on this tape, he said that fame is this, that, and the other thing. In fact, I could grab a woman there and get away with it. Well, they heard I did grab a woman there and got away with it. They have selective hearing.
Well, Now we know that how this stuff got passed down and around, and it should have been stopped at some. Even if like I said, even if you hate the man as much as John McCain evidently does, you think it would have at least to save his face, his because now John McCain's reputation is just mud.
Let's go like this, okay? So far, all three reports that have been put out by the intelligence organizations, I have completely and utterly torn to shreds, and not intending to. My goal is always keep an open mind, remember certain information, look up certain information, and verify. That's all I've done is verify. And I inadvertently basically tore it to shreds. Prime example, the first report put out by the FBI stating how the Russians hacked the DNC or John Podesta. Well, there's a huge problem there, okay? And the problem is really simple. Now, let's put it like this. Remember these names: Federal Security Service, Foreign Intelligence Service, Main Intelligence Directorate, the Federal Protective Service, and the Special Communications Service of Russia. Those are the 5 intelligence organizations for Russia. Now, if you take a look at the first report put out by the FBI, on page 4, it has a list, and in fact, this is the title of it: Reported Russian Military and Civilian Intelligence Services. And it has an extensive list. Problem is that on that list, you will not find a single solitary name I just mentioned. Not a one.
Well, this is the kind of stuff that the American people need to hear about, and I thank you for joining me here. Will you be here again next week? Same bat time, same bat channel, to fill us in on some more stuff.
Easier done than said.
It's kind of. Thank you, my friend, for being such a patriot. America first, definitely. It's.
I agree. I agree with the America first thing, but I remember when I was at the agency, we had this little thing called pride in our work, because our names would be involved in that report or in that work. And it seems that, and it's not the agents, and it's not the operational guys, it's not the analysts. It's the top bosses, especially Clapper. Director Clapper, I'm sorry. He's got to go.
Well,
and
hopefully,
I'm just defending the agencies.
It looks like he is about to, hopefully he will be gone in a few days. It will be replaced. I got to run, CS. Thank you so much for being here this morning and enlightening us once again. My own Intel inside secret agent. We'll talk to you again next week, my friend.
You got it. Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye. We'll be right back, folks.
You're listening to the Rod Eccles Show, the coolest, most politically incorrect, conservative black man on the planet.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there.
What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide. Plus, what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
You know, a couple of weeks ago, a long-haired young person came into our bank and said to me, I bet you won't lend me money to buy an electric guitar. Well, he was making $100 a week, and he was over 18, and I said, I bet you I will lend you money to buy an electric guitar. And I did. So what happens? The punk gets busted for possession of dangerous drugs, and we're out $350. There's one thing about kids nowadays. You don't have to give them credit.
Universal Bank. We trust you. About as far as we can throw you.
You know, folks, it is amazing how those in power, when you don't keep them in check, how they just become totally corrupt. You know the old saying, power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. And these people believe that they have absolute power. And if you don't think so, if you don't believe me on that, just look at how these people, and I'm talking about our congressmen, our senators, our president, often our governors, our state legislatures, and your state legislature, your state senators and state representatives, they might even, be your neighbor, literally. It is unlikely that your neighbor is going to be a U.S. senator or a congressman or something like that, because these people usually move into enclaves that are removed from you and I. But your state legislature and your state, maybe even in some states, if your governor doesn't have a mansion, governor's mansion like we don't here, your governor might even be your neighbor. But yet, when they get elected to these positions, they seem to forget that they work for us, and all of a sudden their whole attitude changes towards us. And that all of a sudden we become their employee, their subject. And just look, whenever somebody's being brought before a Senate committee, whether it's controversial or just routine, if you ever watch some of these meetings and these congressional meetings, and you look at just a regular who takes time out of their busy day to have to go down to, it's not just a one day, I'll just drive in and drive home. No, it's a multi-day thing. So you take time out of your busy schedule, out of your life to go and sit before them, and half the time they sit there and they insult you and berate you. And if you even attempt to even sound snide in return, they will jump down your throat as if they are the kings and members of the king and queen's court, like they're lords and ladies. They forget that respect is two ways. That they have to show the American citizen more respect than the citizen has to show them. But they expect it to be the other way around. And that is simply due to this notion of absolute power corrupts absolutely. They get a taste of this power once they get there, and the vast majority of these people do not know how to, or do not even want to let go of it. Sure, we get some people that walk away. that voluntarily walk. They say they've had enough. We've had a few of them. Most of them, you have got to tear them away, and they will be dragged, kicking and biting and digging their claws in, not nails, claws, trying to stay. So maybe it is time that we start thinking about putting these people down and out through term limits.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
I'm just so happy my father had a chance to see his kids before he passed. I just want to say thank you.
When her father fell ill, the American Red Cross was able to help get Veronica's brother home from the Navy to speak to his father one last time. It's thanks to your donations that we can connect military families when they need it most. Please donate today at redcross.org.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please call or go online right now.
I'm not Rod Eccles, and I approve this message.
Now, we will stay on top of this story, and we'll keep bringing, as new developments occur, we'll keep bringing that to you via our social media footprint. And if you're out there listening right now and you're not following me in this program anywhere on social media, you need to. We're all over the place now. And our footprint keeps growing, both as far as where we're at and the number of people who are following. I mean, we're headed to, I know, the unlucky number 13. We're headed towards, I'm not bragging about this. I mean, it's not huge, especially in today's world as far as Twitter followers are concerned. I mean, I'm heading towards 13,000 followers on Twitter. And just yesterday, there was some kid who thought that I should follow him over there. I don't know how old he is, somewhere between 18 and 22. Thought I should follow him on Twitter, and on his tagline is that he's trans black. Well, that automatically gets me to think, hey, yeah, I'm not following you, you idiot. There's no such thing as trans black. Yeah, and that's it. What the hell is trans black? Somebody who just decides one day that they're black, I guess, when they're not. Kind of like the Rachel Dolezal chick and the Sean King thing. Sean King is another one of those trans black people. And we got a bunch of them out there. Now it's a thing. I don't know. Maybe there's a surgical procedure to do that. You go in for are we going to have to, is that going to be covered by Obamacare, by the way? If you're white or Asian and you want to be black and I guess you're black. I guess you're gonna have to write that down on your census data that you're now black. Your parents could be as white or as Asian as as anybody else who's white or Asian, but you decided that you're black. So I don't know. You go out there and you get a tan, so you look a little bit darker, and you dye your hair, and you get the Brady Bunch perm, so everybody thinks, oh, hey, you must be black now. Yeah, trans black. So no, I didn't follow that kid. You got to be kidding me. I don't have time for that kind of garbage. But over, all the social media stuff, Twitter and Facebook, LinkedIn, Google+, Pinterest, even the newer up-and-comers, the alternatives to Twitter, Gab, and the alternative to Facebook, which is weeme.com. Gab is gab.ai, by the way. You need to follow me in those places. I mean, those are great outlets and platforms. And sure, I do share information across all of my social media platforms that are the same. But then each platform also gets some different stuff too. They're not just there'd be no need to have multiple platforms if you didn't. Excuse me, if they were going to be just mirrors of one another. They're not. They all get some pretty exclusive stuff. So check it out. You can find out more about all my social media stuff over at rodeccles.net. We're going to keep on this. And as new stuff breaks, or as I find new stuff out or new stuff comes to me, then it'll definitely be posted via our social media. So, and I'm easy to find. Just, any of those social media sites, it's just look for Rod Eccles or L Rod, and I'm I don't change my name from site to site. I don't make myself difficult to find. Which is, people say, well, aren't you worried about people are going to find you? I don't know. If you just Google my name, I take up the first 3 pages. That's as far as I've looked. So yeah, if somebody wants to find me, it's pretty damn easy. Not hard. In any case, this yesterday came through, and it has been getting the chatter on the Facebook fan page is enormous on this one. It seems like a lot of you have something to say about this. And that is about the celebrities calling for a total Hollywood strike until Trump resigns. Evidently, Rosie O'Donnell, Amy Schumer, Miley Cyrus, and George Clooney are part of a group of celebrities calling for a total Hollywood strike until Donald Trump resigns the presidency. A group of Hollywood celebrities are threatening a massive all-around Hollywood strike unless Donald Trump resigns, describing Hollywood as the base of the entire modern American culture. This group also claims to be speaking on behalf of all humanity. Now, first of all, I got to tell you, if they all went on strike, I wouldn't miss them. But they're supposed to be speaking for all. Well, forget about all of humanity. How about just the humanity of the United States? And considering that the majority of Americans, and yes, I'm saying majority of Americans, even though they still claim that Hillary Clinton beat him out by 2.5 million votes, she didn't once you factor in all the fakery and fraud that went on in the election. And we know it happened. We have proof of it. In fact, just like in 2008, don't be surprised if people get arrested and then put on trial and convicted of these crimes of voter fraud. Yeah, there are people that are still in trouble from the 2008 voter fraud scandal when Obama got elected. Anybody remember Acorn? Yeah, Acorn, they had to change their name and reorganize because they were at the forefront of all that voter fraud that happened in 2008. Don't forget that, folks. I don't forget it. I have a long historical memory. The same thing happened this time around, and Jill Stein stumbled upon it. She didn't want to do it. It just surprised the hell out of her and everybody else when they looked into it in Detroit. 37% of precincts in Detroit alone, forget the rest of Michigan, 37% of Detroit precincts counted more votes than were actually cast. And the vast majority of those votes went for whom? Hillary Clinton. We know that there are people down in Southern California. In fact, they're trying to figure out just exactly what the number is because they're not sure. But at least 2 million illegal immigrants voted in Southern California. Well, she won by 2.5 million, right? Across the country, there are at least 4 million dead people voted. We know that they all probably voted for Hillary. So I don't know, what are we down? 6 million now? You still want to claim that she won by 2.5 million? Even 3 million? Looks like Donald Trump probably won by 2 million, 3 million or more. So Hollywood is forgetting that the American people voted and elected Donald Trump. Even, I guess, their so-called influence over being the base of modern American culture didn't play out very well this election for them, did it? And they obviously think that Americans still hold them, many Americans still believe in celebrity and hold them on a pedestal, but most Americans don't anymore. They recognize the Hollywood elite hypocrites for what they are, hypocrites and idiots, stuck in their own little rich, overly rich bubble. I love it when I see some of these stories of, what this star did before they became a star. Oh, this one was a waiter, or this one was an accountant, or this one was some other menial, what they would consider to be menial labor job. Oh, this person was a salesperson at a Macy's counter or something. I mean, it's just like we're supposed to be able to relate to them all of a sudden. We don't relate to them because nobody makes, These people make millions of dollars a year off of entertaining us. No, there's nothing wrong with it if they can get it. I'm not holding. I'm not being jealous of their financial success. That's fine. But don't go out there and claim when you're living in mansions behind walls that you build and tell us that we can't live behind a wall to protect us because you do. Don't tell us that we can't have personal firearms to protect ourselves, our family, and our property when you do. We can't afford to go out there and hire an army of bodyguards like many of these stars do. We got to protect ourselves. So they can run around thinking, well, I don't have a gun. I don't carry a gun. No, Rosie O'Donnell, you don't carry a gun because your two bodyguards do. The American people are getting sick and tired of this type of preaching, hypocritical preaching. If you want to go on strike, first of all, you go on strike, guess who you're hurting? You're not hurting the American people because we've got all, this is not 1970 anymore. We got more than 3 major networks and 4 major movie studios. We got more than that now. We've got alternative entertainment. Hell, with today's technology, we often entertain ourselves. Pretty much. We don't need you. Your self-importance is really false, fake. You're overindulged. You people run around with award show after award show after award show, patting each other on the back, telling each other how wonderful you are. Most of you your movies aren't making a whole hell of a lot of money. But you get paid ridiculous sums, and you think that you have done something and contributed something great to society. You have not. You've entertained us for a maximum, 2 hours. What is it? What's the average? 100 minutes now? Is 110 minutes is about the average length of a movie? Let's just say 2 hours. You entertain us for 2 hours. That's it. You do not have that type of pull that maybe you once did. Well, because you're not like the old movie stars of old. People recognize that because now you're the first people to say that you're going to abandon this country if you don't get your way. We never had movie stars that did that. All these entertainment stars of old, no matter what, they were proud to be American and they weren't afraid or ashamed to proclaim it no matter who was president. You people run around acting like you're so damn ashamed that we elected Donald Trump that you claiming that if we did elect him that you'd leave the country. And we were all saying bye, and still none of you have moved. So the only people that you're going to end up hurting is yourselves. But you're not going to just hurt yourselves, entertainment industry, you movie stars, you self-important, hypocritical idiots. You're going to hurt the people who actually make the movies and TV shows possible. The production teams. None of those people earn millions or hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. They're just average, everyday, middle-class working stiffs like you and me. And a lot of them out in California, they can't afford to be out of work because the average price of their house is over $500,000. They've got a $3,000 a month mortgage or a $2,500 a month rent payment that they've got to pay. And you shutting down production on your movies and your TV shows because you don't like the fact that the majority of Americans voted for Donald Trump and put him in the presidential Oval Office is just too damn bad because you're going to hurt them instead of you. You'll take your millions and you'll sit back and you'll enjoy it and you'll go and invest in everything that you keep telling the rest of us is bad to invest in. Oh yeah, we got your number. We know that you do. So they say it's about time people understood that we're the ones with the power and that the president is there to serve us, not the other way around. Well, you know what? Hollywood, you're not the one with power. 300 million people have the power, not just you. The President of the United States doesn't just represent and work for you, Hollywood elite. He works for and represents 300 million people. Yeah, it's called the United States of America. It's called representative government, something you know nothing about.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide. Plus, what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
You know, a couple of weeks ago, a long-haired young person came into our bank and said to me, I bet you won't lend me money to buy an electric guitar. Well, he was making $100 a week, and he was over 18, and I said, I bet you I will lend you money to buy an electric guitar. And I did. So what happens? The punk gets busted for possession of dangerous drugs, and we're out $350. There's one thing about kids nowadays. You don't have to give them credit.
Universal Bank. We trust you. About as far as we can throw you.
Six 603-835-3226. You know, I'm so sick of Hollywood. I am really just sick of how Hollywood treats the rest of us. I mean, they're no better than many politicians, to tell you the truth. They look down their long collective noses at the rest of us. They don't want to interact with us if they don't have to. Most of them don't. There are some that truly are genuinely thankful and grateful that we think that they're entertaining enough to make them such huge successes. I mean, think about it for a second, folks. You got some of these elitists out there that are worth $100 million or more. They don't really own anything. Well, they may own their own production company now, but they don't own really any business. They earn the bulk of that money just by making movies or TV shows or selling concert tickets. I mean, really? And somehow that's supposed to make them legends. Legends in their own minds. No wonder so many people just want to be a celebrity. Because they think that automatically, they just want to be famous, but they think if they're famous, they're actually going to, get money. And there's some precedent for that. Like Paris Hilton, Kardashians. What are these people famous for? They're famous for being famous. Even the people that report on the famous, like Perez Hilton. I don't know what that kid's real name. Well, he's not a kid anymore, but I don't know what that guy's real name is. I know he's gone through a transformation once he became famous. He lost a ton of weight. I think he had don't quote me on this, but I think he had some plastic surgery. And, yeah, for those of you who don't know, he's also gay, which is, that's irrelevant, but other than how he acts in public, I don't think he's not shy about it. Somebody else who obviously was shy, and this is from Newser.com. A woman sues Chipotle. Yeah, that Chipotle, the Mexican grill. She's suing them. This woman, Leah Caldwell, Caldwell, says that she was used in Chipotle ads without her approval. She's a Sacramento woman, and she's now looking at becoming the world's newest billionaire, all because of a single photograph. Leah Caldwell has little chance of collecting that kind of money, but she nonetheless has filed a lawsuit against Chipotle for $2.2 billion because she says the chain used a photograph of her in promotional material for years without her permission. Caldwell says photographer Steve Adams snapped a picture of her at a Denver Chipotle back in 2006 and asked her to sign a release, which she refused to do. 8 years later, she says she saw the image hanging inside a Chipotle in Florida. Then in 2 different California locales in 2015. In fact, the lawsuit alleges that the chain first used the photo in advertising all the way back in 2006. It also says the image was doctored to include alcoholic beverages, which she says cast her in a bad light. Really, I got to see this picture. It also says the image was doctored to include alcoholic beverages, and why the sum of $2.2 billion? Well, Caldwell is seeking $237,633,000 because that is precisely how much the company reported in net income for 2006 through 2015. And when the numbers come in for 2016, she will up the ante. In other words, this single woman thinks that single picture has made her so famous that she's responsible for all the profit that Chipotle has had since 2006. What kind of moron what kind of attorney actually takes on this case? Do they honestly think that Chipotle is going to settle? If I were Chipotle, I'd take it all the way and say, no, we're not settling either. In fact, I might even issue a countersuit for, unless Chipotle knows that they've actually done something they should not have done. But if they did something on good faith and they didn't realize that this happened, maybe the photographer is at fault, if all that she says is true. I'd take it all the way, and I'd probably issue a countersuit for defamation. Why not? That's basically what she's doing.
Have you ever thought to yourself, I'm a leftist elite Hollywood a-hole? If so, good news. The Rod Eccles Hollywood Community College is now open, featuring such courses as unemployment is not paid vacation. No, Americans don't want to spend $19 for an order of French fries, and the ever popular shut the hell up. Why, just listen to this big-time celebrity endorsement.
I'm not Rosie O'Donnell, and I think this school's offensive, sexist, and racist.
And I think you're a giant a-hole who needs to shut the hell up. Hey, we teach a course in that. the Rod Eccles Hollywood Community College, where being an A-hole is not a guarantee you'll be an A student.
The following program is recommended for mature individuals and may contain material unsuitable for morons, cretins, and dishwipes. If you are a moron or a member of the PTL club, please turn off your radio, because we don't need any more stupid, narrow-minded, pencil-neck geeks who wouldn't know the First Amendment if it came up and bit them on the butt. Thank you.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
The following letters were written by our troops.
My dear fellow Americans, I truly appreciate your support. I was starting to wonder if people had forgotten about us over here, but then one of my buddies showed me this website, and now as tears are streaming down my face, I can see for sure that you haven't. Private Emily B., U.S. Army.
It's so heartwarming to see the American people not letting the men and women of the armed forces be forgotten. Your letters make a group of grown men, battle-hardened and gruff, act like a bunch of kids around a Christmas tree. Thanks. Staff Sergeant Matthew H., U.S. Army.
Your support may be the most important thing our troops can carry with them. But don't take our word for it. Take theirs. To show your support, visit americasupportsyou.mil. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Defense and the Ad Council.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. We leave no warrior behind. Wounded Warrior Project is a non-profit organization created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war. Whether those scars are physical or mental, we're here to make sure that they heal. And whether it's helping those with post-traumatic stress disorder live a normal life again, or giving much-needed support to injured warriors in veterans' hospitals. Because no one deserves our help more than the men and women who risk their lives to keep us safe. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Were you born from 1945 to 1965? People born during these years are 5 times more likely to have hepatitis C. So even if you try to eat right, exercise, and take care of yourself, you could still have hepatitis C, a serious disease that's a leading cause of liver cancer. If you were born from 1945 to 65, you should get a blood test for hepatitis C. treatments can cure this disease. Talk to your doctor about getting tested. A message from the CDC.
See that cute little dog in the pet store window? Chances are it came from a puppy mill, a breeding facility that forces caged, neglected, and often sick dogs to churn out puppy after puppy to be sold for profit. Meanwhile, millions of wonderful, healthy pets end up in animal shelters. This leads to the killing of more than 9,000 by the end of today. But with one simple choice, you can help. Just by deciding to adopt instead of purchase your next pet. Animal shelters are full of amazing pets looking for a home. When you adopt your new best friend, not only are you saving a life, you're taking a stand against puppy mills. When your friends see the smart choice and impact you've made, they adopt their next pet and share with 5 of their friends, who share with 5 more. Before long, thousands get involved. Pet stores stop selling dogs from puppy mills, and even more lives are saved. And with your help, we can save them all. Visit bestfriends.org/puppymills to learn more.
Thousands of families affected by disasters, like the recent wildfires, urgently need support. You can help the American Red Cross provide warm meals, shelter, and hope to families when they need it most. Please donate today to Red Cross Disaster Relief to help people affected by disasters, big and small. Go to redcross.org or call 1-800-RED-CROSS today. Your support is critical. We can't do it without you.
You want to know what time it is? It's time to bring the rain.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Welcome back. Hour number 3 already. The fastest 3 hours in Internet Talk Radio is right here on the Rod Eccles Show. I am, of course, your lovable host, Rod, coming to you live once again from the bunkerized studio somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire, where the state motto is still live free or die. It is not big government or bust. The call-in number this Wednesday, January number 11 in the year of our Lord 2017 is 603-835-3226. And for those of you who don't know it already, it is a toll-free number under most calling plans. So go ahead and feel free to use that number if you so wish. Last night was the swan. Well, we all hoped it was a swan song. It's not the swan song. It was just his farewell address to the American people as Presidente, El Presidente of the United States of America. Anybody ever remember the movie An American Tail? Feifel. Remember Feifel, the mouse? There are no cats in America, and the streets are made of cheese. Remember that? I know I'm dating myself on that, but some of these Disney films, they just stick with you. But I'm surprised that has really disappeared. American Tail really has kind of disappeared from the Disney lexicon. I mean, it's still there, but they don't really. They don't play it up. You still hear about Lion King and Beauty and the Beast. In fact, there's, still Broadway plays and off-Broadway plays of Beauty and the Beast and Lion King. And I think there's a new movie. Is it either a new movie or a TV show of Beauty and the Beast is coming out? It's a live-action thing, not a cartoon. So they're not letting go of that stuff. But I don't see anything of them remaking or adding to American Tail. Why is that? Well, because American Tail is about what the US of A was really all about and still is all about for billions of people around the world. That this is a place where you're supposed to come to for freedom, for liberty, a place that will allow you to achieve your dreams. It'll give you opportunity for you to achieve your own dreams. And that is not the mantra that the left has today. Because, they have to claim that the United States is terrible, it's horrific, we're evil, we're mean-spirited, we're totally unfair. We have too many rich people and too many poor people. Yeah, they blame the rich for being rich. Now, I find it interesting that, most of these people who talk about income inequality, the Hollywood people, can you imagine that? All these people running around talking about, income equality, and these people are so out of touch as far as income is concerned. Most people will not earn in a lifetime what many of those Hollywood elitist stars earn from one movie. So you want to talk about being out of touch. But they all run around talking about how unfair the system is, and they want to make the system more fair. Basically, they just want to keep it for themselves. Don't doubt me on that one. They really do. But that's what they do. And they want to tell you that, everything is terrible. Everything in America is bad. And Donald Trump is, what's everything that's wrong with America. Really, Donald Trump is the reason everybody wants to come here. People like him. I can't tell you how many foreign-born people in New England own real estate. I mean, that's what Donald Trump does. He owns real estate. They own real estate because real estate is what they believe is going to help them achieve their American dream, whatever that dream is. They go out and buy property. They buy property so much so that they're doing, if you were born outside of this country and you came here, there has been statistics and studies that have been done. You are 7 times more likely to become wealthy, a millionaire, if you were born outside of this country and moved here than if you were born here. And it's only getting worse. So that tells you a lot. A lot of the people that are coming here, except for maybe those people coming up from our southern border, they're not coming here to look for a handout, government check. They're not coming here to drop a baby so the baby can be a citizen and then call them anchor babies. No. They're coming here because they believe in a dream and that America is a place for them to achieve that dream. They're coming here to work. And now we have Obama letting in people, and Clinton's letting in people, and other liberals wanting to let in people that don't have that mentality. They because it's unfair that all these people have to live in poverty. Well, let me tell you something. You can't allow 7 billion people to live in the United States because then the United States will be poor. But that's what they want us to be equal with the rest of the world. Well, the problem is that they won't be equal because those elitists will have all their money. The rest of us won't have any. And that is the reason behind Obama's chosen excruciatingly long farewell speech last night. Now, I was saying, you know what? I said I was going to go through and I was going to tear this thing apart and I was going to play clips of it here and there and take it. And I realized, you know what? It was a 55-minute long speech. It was going to take me 4 hours to tear the whole thing apart and redo it and it's not worth it. But I will go over some points. First of all, This guy, his speech, his farewell speech, goodbye speech, was longer than Reagan, Clinton, and Bush's farewell speech. Do you realize that Bill Clinton had a farewell speech that was about 8 minutes long? I know, right? Reagan was only 20 minutes and Bush was about 15 minutes. GW. And this guy had to take up an hour. I mean, if you turned into PBS, you know, they covered it live, and even they were, you know, flabbergasted by the length, because if you tuned into them at first, and they said, yeah, we'll continue our regularly scheduled broadcast immediately after the speech. This speech, you know, will last we expect it to be about 30 minutes or less, so just hang on, folks, and you're right. I'm just wondering what the production people at PBS thought. We just told everybody it was going to be 30 minutes or less, and here it is, almost an hour. I mean, really? An hour to say goodbye. And then he proceeded to talk about all the wonderful things that he had tried to accomplish and did accomplish. And then he told us that he wasn't going anywhere. He says, yeah, that's right. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to be right here. I'm going to be fighting for it. In other words, he's going to do everything that he possibly can to get in the way of Donald J. Trump as president. Much like we didn't get rid of Bill Clinton when George W. Bush became president. Clinton hung around. Kind of like Jimmy Carter. Notice it's all these Democrats that do that. Jimmy Carter. Anybody see Reagan or George Herbert Walker Bush or even George Bush or Gerald Ford continually get involved in the political system and process after they were no longer president? No, they all kind of went away quietly, didn't they? I mean, well, it was the first, 3 or 4 years of people were questioning whether George W. Bush was still alive because nobody had heard from him. That's how silent he went. But not Carter, not Clinton, and it sure as hell ain't going to be Obama. You got to understand, why do these people do that? Well, because they crave, well, maybe not Carter. Jimmy Carter was not an attention. He didn't crave the attention just for attention's sake. But you got now these Democrat people think that they're celebrities. You know, they crave the limelight, the attention. And they're also out there on a daily basis trying to protect their so-called legacy, because everything's about the legacy. Now, how will everybody remember me? What did I get accomplished? And Obama was out there trying to protect his legacy because he knows it's in serious jeopardy. I mean, this is the president that probably will have just about every major piece of legislation that he had passed, that he sponsored, that he championed, have it overturned and or repealed. I don't think there is any president in our country's history that could end up with a record like Barack Obama. There's not much that anybody wants of the Obama years that anybody wants to keep. Not much at all. So this speech was about protecting his legacy. And he was telling all these wonderful minds full of mush out there in the audience in Chicago. Chicago, the city that had nearly 800 of its citizens wiped out this year alone, or in 2016, in the form of murder. Nearly 4,000 since Obama took office. Folks, do you realize that? 4,000 Americans died on the city streets of Chicago, just Chicago, over the past 8 years. Oh, Clinton had it worse. Over 6,000 Americans and people in Chicago lost their lives the 8 years of Clinton. Now, you can probably say, well, yeah, people lost their lives and were murdered. A lot of people were murdered under George W. Bush and Reagan and It's just the way Chicago is. Exactly. In Chicago, for the past 60 years or more, has been run by liberal, power-grabbing, corrupt Democrat liberals. Of which Obama's one of them. He came out of Chicago. He was out there trying to get these people to organize, community organize, and to get into politics. No, don't contribute to society by starting a company, starting businesses, hiring people, getting a good job, and that contributes and where you pay taxes. No. He was telling all these wonderful people, organize, which was code to go ahead and demonstrate and riot. Don't doubt me, he was in full community organizer mode. He was not president of the United States. He was being, in that farewell speech, he was being community organizer in chief. Don't doubt me.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide. Plus, what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
You know, a couple of weeks ago, a long-haired young person came into our bank and said to me, I bet you won't lend me money to buy an electric guitar. Well, he was making $100 a week, and he was over 18, and I said, I bet you I will lend you money to buy an electric guitar. And I did. So what happens? The punk gets busted for possession of dangerous drugs, and we're out $350. There's one thing about kids nowadays. You don't have to give them credit.
Universal Bank. We trust you. About as far as we can throw you.
(603-835-3226). Welcome back. You know, he went on, President Obama went on and on about a number of different things about being community organizers and not giving up hope. And then he also said some things that had me scratching my head and wanting to throw bricks at my computer. I didn't watch him on my TV. I was sitting at my desk watching him on live streaming. I wanted to toss my computer when he talked about the Constitution. And he talked about protecting our private and individual rights. Did he not live the same 8 years the rest of us lived? A federal government that spied on its own citizens more than it spied on the enemy. A federal government that declared American citizens to be a greater threat to America than ISIS and ISIL. In the Taliban, sure, he reminded us that he was the president on his watch. We got bin Laden. And then he didn't let the American people see bin Laden to make sure that we actually got him. But he also got him, if he did, due to the fact that the intel and the intelligence that was gathered while George Bush was president. Because, he couldn't, we can't do waterboarding, can't do torture. Waterboarding isn't torture. You can't do waterboarding because that's like torture. Nobody wants to be tortured. You can't be. You're not going to get the right information on torture. Well, I guess we waterboarded and if that's torture, I guess we tortured people, and they gave us the intel, which eventually led to finding out where bin Laden was, so we could send in SEAL Team 6. And from what I understand, there's only one or two of those guys still living, which is really kind of interesting in and of itself. That's another story for another time. And this is a guy that played a lot of golf. Hey, Obama had more rounds of golf than all presidents in the last century combined. Do you people realize that? Obama played more rounds of golf than all presidents over the last 100 years combined. And this guy racked up more debt than all previous 43 presidents before him combined. This guy didn't do anything small, did he? He went big on everything. Took over one of the largest parts of our national economy, healthcare system. Nobody else ever did that. The old saying, go big or go home. Obama went big. And now he's not even going home. He calls Chicago home. He grew up in Hawaii, but he ain't going back to either one. He's staying in Washington, D.C. Here's a guy. He just will not go away. He made it clear last night that he wasn't going to go away. And I told you people that was going to be the case. He's not going to go away. He is not going anywhere. We are probably going to see almost as much of him when he becomes former President Obama as we did when he was President Obama. And I bet you he plays less golf as former President Obama than he did as President Obama. How much you want to bet? I'm not a betting man, but I'll bet you 2 nickels that he won't. He won't play as many rounds of golf. He won't play as much golf. No, I guarantee. And he probably. And by the way, if I'm not mistaken, didn't I hear? I heard somewhere, and maybe I read it, that this guy who doesn't believe we don't need to build a wall. We don't need to build a wall down there in the southern border. We don't need. I heard he's building a wall around the property that he's renting or bought in D.C. Isn't it wonderful how those wonderful liberal elitists, they talk about we can't build a wall down there. We can't build. It'd be unfair. It's not American to build a wall. And yet these people like Mark Zuckerberg, wherever they have property, they're building walls around them. Why? Because walls and fences keep people out. It doesn't work 100% of the time. Some people, if they're that determined to get, past on the other side of that wall or fence, they're going to do it. But it's going to keep the vast majority. It increases their security. They know this. So they're building walls themselves around their own properties. It's just the rest of us aren't supposed to have that kind of protection. Think about that. The rest of us aren't supposed to have that kind of protection. Because all we're supposed to do is we're supposed to depend on the benevolence of these wonderful liberal government officials who have nothing but our best interests at heart. How many of you people believe that politicos and politicians in D.C. and in state capitals all over the country have your best interest at heart? Let me see it. I want to see you. Raise your hands if you think so. Wow, funny. I don't see many hands going up.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
I'm just so happy my father had a chance to see his kids before he passed. I just want to say thank you.
When her father fell ill, the American Red Cross was able to help get Veronica's brother home from the Navy to speak to his father one last time. It's thanks to your donations that we can connect military families when they need it most. Please donate today at redcross.org.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzzed driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzzed driving, because buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month, and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please, call or go online right now.
Bring the rain.
603-835-3226. Yes, that is a number to call should you wish to join me here on the Rod Eccles Show. I am, of course, still your lovable host. By the way, if there were a little bit of some hiccups at all during this program, we're doing a little bit of testing of some mixing stuff here, utilizing multiple computers. So if there was a little bit of hiccup at any time, I don't think there was much. There might have been one or two times, but that was the reason for today, because we're still preparing and getting ready for us going, I guess, full real syndication next month. So I'll keep you informed as that stuff goes. But got to make sure you get all your ducks in a row before you do something like that. So we're doing a little bit of testing over the next couple of shows to see how this equipment and software works together, and to tweak stuff out. And we'll be adding more software as time goes on, and hopefully we won't have to add any equipment. But if we do, at least we'll find out well before then. In any case, so you have the president giving his farewell speech to the people of the United States of America, you and me. And yeah, I actually watched a good portion of it. I didn't necessarily want to, but I had to. I do this because I want to protect you, my valuable listener. I care about you guys. I want to try to help you get through this life and all these issues as sanely as possible. And I know if you look at the news, it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to come across as being sane when you have people that want to sue Chipotle for $2 billion just for using their picture without their permission. You know what? If I hope she wins. You know how much money I could probably get from people and places using my likeness without my permission? We're going to start putting people out of business one after the other, because then you get everybody else is going to be able to do the same damn thing. It's just ridiculous. It really is. Speaking of court cases, this woman isn't the only one. Now, you probably didn't hear about that one, but you know of this one. And this one is PJ Media is reporting, let me bring you back to another child of Obama. Everybody remember Clock Boy? Yeah, remember Clock Boy out of Texas? Yeah, his name was Muhammad Alad Alad Mohammed. Yeah, the 14-year-old kid that put together a a clock that looked like a suitcase bomb, I guess, and he brought it to school, and everybody, the left thought we overreacted, and the police overreacted, and the school overreacted, and they called the cops, and they arrested the kid and questioned him, and then they suspended him, and then he went and moved to Qatar for like a year, and then he moved back because they realized that Qatar was not like the U.S. of A. He probably tried to pull all kinds of crap over there too, and Qatar wasn't having any of it. Or Qatar, is it Qatar or Qatar? I get tomato, depends on who you are. But PJmedia.com is reporting a district judge in Texas has dismissed a defamation lawsuit filed by Ahmad Mohad on his behalf and on behalf of his 15-year-old son, Ahmed Mohammed. Because his dad's name is, they got a little backwards. His dad's name is Mohammed Al Hassan Mohammed. And the kid's name is Ahmed Mohammed. So on behalf of his father, filed a lawsuit on behalf of his son, Ahmed. They sued Fox News, Glenn Beck, and the mayor of Irving, Texas, among others, for defamation in September of 2016. Now, of course, a year earlier, everybody knows that then 14-year-old Ahmed was a freshman at Irving, Texas High School. He was arrested, briefly detained by police, and suspended for 3 days after bringing to school a quote-unquote cool clock that looked like a briefcase bomb. Now, Ahmed claimed that to invented the easily assembled clock and that he had brought it to school to show his shop teacher. Now I have no evidence of this, but I still believe that kid did not come up with that idea on his own. I'm serious. I don't believe he did it. I don't believe he did come up with it on his own. Did he take it to school? Yeah. Did he and his daddy know what was going to happen? Oh, I think they knew exactly what was going to happen. And what happened is exactly what they thought was going to happen. Notice how we have all of these wonderful fake stories that come out. And it's not just the fake stories, about this clock and type of thing. But it's also about, when you get to people or somebody writing a racist epitaph on and burning a black church. And everybody thinks when they look at it and they read it and they see the damage, they think it was a KKK member or it was a supporter of Donald Trump. A racist supporter of Donald Trump. And then a white supporter. It has to be a white guy white people had to do that. And then the person that they ended up arresting, not only was the person black, the perpetrator black, but he was also a parishioner of that particular church that he tried to burn to the ground. Now, who does that? The only people who do that are people who are liberal. I don't see a bunch of conservatives running around trying to perpetrate crimes and fraud and of hate and disinformation. I'm not saying that we're not, people on the right are not capable of it. I am saying that we've got better things to do. We don't need to constantly be doing stuff like this. There's enough of the real stuff out there. We don't got to make it up. But the left never seem to quite be able to actually find in reality, in real life, what they claim. You ever notice that? Oh, there's racism all over the place. Yeah, there's racism everywhere. All you Trumpers, you're racist. All you Tea Partiers, you're racist. Now remember when the Tea Party movement was in full swing back around 2010? 2009, 2010, 2010. Yeah, we had all these reports from the leftists about how racist that the Tea Party was. And every time somebody took a camera to a Tea Party event, they saw how diverse it was as far as ethnic background was concerned. People of all skin colors. I never see any black people at an event. I remember people saying that around here in New England. There are no black people. And then when you say, well, there's a bunch of black people over there. You go and talk to, they're all conservative. Well, I don't see any Asian people. And then you start pointing out the Asian people. So in order to prove that the Tea Party was racist, what did they start doing? They started bringing in operatives, acting like they were Tea Party supporters, and then holding signs. And then then every time they did that, you saw what you didn't see on liberal media is what they cut out. But if you saw it over on YouTube, you saw the whole clip. You saw the Tea Party people who were attending the Tea Party event chase away the racist. They didn't keep him around. They didn't congratulate him. They didn't hold hands with him and go kumbaya. And they didn't say, right on, brother. You know, we are with you. We Tea Partiers, we're all racist just like you are. And then we come to find out that those people who were holding those signs, those racist signs in the Tea Party area or across the street from the Tea Party, they were all a bunch of liberal operatives. They have to fake everything. Because nothing of what they say about us is ever really true. It all happens on their side. Oh, you know, Donald Trump is inciting violence and racial tension. Do you see a bunch of conservatives and moderates running around, you know, kidnapping white boys and telling them to say, fuck Donald Trump. Fuck Donald Trump. No. It's all from the left. But they keep telling us that Donald Trump is inciting all of this violence. They're the ones doing the violence. They're the ones perpetrating the violence. It isn't on the right. I don't know how many times we have to keep saying it and repeating it. But that's the way it works, folks. It isn't those of us on the right. It's those on the left. So when you have Meryl Streep standing up at a microphone after getting a Lifetime Achievement Award, a Lifetime Achievement of what? Entertaining us? Okay. A Lifetime Achievement Award, and talks about how Donald Trump and his supporters are racist and bigoted and homophobic and every time you turn around after that and before that, you see all these reports talking about how racist the left really is, how homophobic the left really is. All of this stuff that they accuse the right of is simply them looking in the mirror. I'm telling you the truth here, folks. All they got to do is look in the mirror. They're the ones that have the issues, not us. We're the ones that want to maintain our constitutional freedoms. Even for them. We're the ones that want to protect this homeland so things like Clock Boy don't happen. Because anybody in their right mind, if they had a lick of sense, wouldn't even have tried to do anything like that in this day and age. By the way, I got a story here, by the way, that talks about the Florida airport shooter. Well, he converted to Islam before heading down to. He was radicalized before he did. Yeah, you don't want. They don't want to tell you that. Now you got Obama up there saying, "Yeah, hey, there in the last 8 years there were no foreign operatives or foreign terror attacks in the United States," and the crowd in Chicago just erupted. But it was a bald-faced lie. And he goes on, well, those Sir Naya, but they didn't, in Boston, they weren't attached to any ISIS. They all were attached to those radical groups. And every time one of those people single-handedly or in pairs, they popped off a bunch of Americans and other people here. Every time they killed those people, ISIS and ISIL and all the other, terrorist organizations, that's our boys. Those are our boys. They did that because we told them to. Whether they were American citizens or not, they all got radicalized, and some of them actually went over there and came back. Tsarnaev brothers were radicalized. They were always radical. I mean, you could just see it in their mother. After one of them was killed and the younger one was arrested. And my boys did nothing wrong. They did nothing wrong. This is just a government plot. Blah. And she was going off on America. Yeah, refugees. And now we're allowing in, there's a story here that says immigration official okays Syrian refugees with fake passports. Well, I thought we were vetting these people. They're getting in with known fake credentials. Well, what about all those people that they don't even know have fake credentials but do? Again, is that conservatives doing this, folks? No, it's liberals.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide. Plus, what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
You know, a couple of weeks ago, a long-haired young person came into our bank and said to me, I bet you won't lend me money to buy an electric guitar. Well, he was making $100 a week, and he was over 18, and I said, I bet you I will lend you money to buy an electric guitar. And I did. So what happens? The punk gets busted for possession of dangerous drugs, and we're out $350. There's one thing about kids nowadays. You don't have to give them credit.
Universal Bank. We trust you. About as far as we can throw you.
Yes, indeed. You have these wonderful liberals out there. They claim that they're out there to help all of us, protect all of us, make our lives better. And they run around. They're the ones that are perpetrating all this fraud, all this hate, all this death and destruction. I don't see any of them backing off from any of that kind of stuff. Do you? Anybody else see them doing that? I'm sorry. I don't see any of them doing that. I see them all constantly talking about just how bad America is, but every time they talk about how bad America is, it's them, they who are the ones that are perpetrating all this stuff. For instance, for the inauguration coming up, the anarchists, which are from the left, they want to turn the inauguration into the world's biggest riot. Yeah, I know. I'm not kidding you on this. They want to turn it into the world's biggest riot. This comes from InfoWars, but so I mean, you can take it with a grain of salt. But if you look at everything else that these people are doing and saying, you know that it's accurate. It must be accurate because, why else would they make it up? Anarchists are hoping to turn Donald Trump's inauguration on January 20th into one of the biggest riots in U.S. history. Their stated goal is to disrupt the inauguration festivities as much as possible, and they're planning a wide range of actions to achieve that stated goal. And because of this, the Secret Service and FBI have upped their security protocols for the inauguration. In fact, it's out there stating that the FBI and the Secret Service will have a 360-degree realm or view of security at the inauguration on the 20th. Yes, indeed. Secret Service planned 360-degree security for inauguration. And this is from Washington's Top News, WTOP.com. And, it's from D.C. So these folks, they've got equipment that they're moving into place that is, they obviously can't tell you all their security protocol, but know this, that there are going to be snipers everywhere. They're going to be, and these snipers are going to be able to shoot from quite a long distance. You're not going to see you're not going to see some of them. There'll be people that see, oh yeah, I see them up there and up there. I can see. You will, the ones that they want you to see, you'll be able to see. And then there'll be those that you can't see because they don't want you to see them, but they'll be there. And the FBI is also getting involved in this as well. I mean, it's going to be a all hands on deck type of thing because they know that these idiots from the left, they don't have to. Everybody thought, well, they're going to have to up their security on Obama because all these racists out there are going to try to come after him. Now, that's not the case. They're not going to come. We didn't go after Obama, did we? I think their white presidents got shot. Obama didn't. Just saying. All this stuff comes from the left, guys, not from the right. Not at all. We're not the ones perpetrating all this kind of garbage and crapola and what have you. In any case, that's an unfortunate sound. It means that we're out of time for today. But we'll be back here in about 21 hours to do it all over again, to bring you more facts, fun, and information that you need to go about your day and to how to handle your politicos and politicians. And for that, I thank you for trusting me enough to listen to me, because I don't deliver to you fake news. I give you the real stuff. So until tomorrow, my friends, have a wonderful Wednesday hump day afternoon. I'll see you back here tomorrow, which is Thursday morning, and we'll do it all over again. I'm Rod Eccles. This has been The Rod Eccles Show. I'm out.
Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. A shameless politician always plays her cards right. Got a crew for the fight on the airwaves. Lapdogs in the press keep their mouths tight. Cause a Clinton never needs to explain what, why it is what they done or with who. A real Clinton knows that they're entitled, and you don't get to know what they do.
What difference does it make?
For a Clinton, what's loaded in some fat Oppo file? A Clinton plays the victim for promotion. A Clinton kills it off with a smile. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. A server full of secrets ain't no thing. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. Nothing ever hits with the sting.